Mains, the rebirth or revival. So, characters focus on art, painting, sculpture, literature, architecture, and science. Impact and factors paved the way for age of enlightenment and age of discovery. Discovery of new land like America, new sea routes, rising of imperialism and colonialism. Philosophical factors include humanism, promoting rationality, secularism, and questioning mind. Role of press through printing of Bible in vernacular language and wide circulation. Man seen as the center of universe, development of human potential, and the dominance of church, religion, growth of trade and commerce, scientific intervention, including printing press by Gutenberg in 1450, addressed limited literacy and the monopoly of clergy. Notable figure in literature, Grofe Cuson, Canterbury Tales, England, Shakespeare, Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, Julius Caesar, and the Merchant of Venice. Reformation, meaning protest against the corruption of Catholic Church, occurred in 16th to 17th century. Causes: religions, corruption of church, including simony, buying and selling of post, indulgence, pardon for sins, nepotism, and plurality. Political: German prince desired independence from the Holy Roman Empire dominated by the Pope and Emperor. English King Henry VIII declared independence from personal region. Immediate cause: outbreak and spread. Wittenberg, Germany lead to Protestantism. Counter-Reformation: Catholic response to Reformation. Formation of Society of Jesus, Jesuit in 1540 by Ignatius of Loyola, who carried out missionary activity in Asia, Africa, and America. Goa in India. Abolition of sales of indulgence and reduction in corruption, nepotism by Catholic Church. Impact: decline of church influence over common masses, growth of concept of secularism, rise of concept of nationalism and nation state free from the influence of Pope of England, rise of Protestant, decline of hold of church and clergy over people. American Revolution, the transition from English identity to American identity among 13 colonies from 1600 to 1750. Rising of loyalistic and patriots. Causes of American Revolution. Political impact of Seven-Year War, 1756 to 63, on British Treasury, resulting in tax raised by the English King. No representation of colonies in British Parliament. Economic causes: impact of Seven-Year Wars on Exchequer, Sugar Act of 1764, imposing tax on sugar, molasses, and coffee. Stamp Act of 1765, requiring a stamp on every document of tax paid to British government. Declaratory Act 1763, where the British government Parliament reinforced the right to tax anything in the colonies. Townshend Act 1767, imposing tax on paper, glass, and tea. Intolerable Act, also known as Coercive Act, were four laws regarding taxation on colonies. Other economic factors: colonies restricted to trade only with Britain, colonies deprived of heavy industry like iron and steel, only British ships permitted for trade and commerce, cotton, indigo, rice, etc. to be sold exclusively to Britain. Intellectual influence of thinkers like John Locke, social contract theory, and individual right. Montesquieu, separation of power, Rousseau, social contract theory, Voltaire, freedom of expansion, Thomas Paine published the pamphlet Common Sense, social changing identity from English to American. Then important event of American Revolution, Boston Tea Party in 1773, where 342 chests of tea were thrown into Boston Harbor by colonists. First Continental Congress at Philadelphia in 1774, where British King was asked to revoke coercive acts. Social impact of this American Revolution: greater emphasis on equality, initially limited emphasis, rise of common men and broader political participation, stimulating education and literacy. Economic impact: freedom from British mercantilist policy, allowing independent trade, economic diversification, and westward expansion. Then comes the French Revolution. The causes of French Revolution: the three states of France, clergy, first state, and nobility, second state, constitute, constitute 2% of population and owned 35 to 40% of land. They collected tithe from commoner and paid no tax. Commoners' third estate constituted 98% of population, including lawyer, doctor, teacher, artist, merchant, cooks, worker, mason, laborer, and peasant. They paid all the taxes. Political causes is the French King Louis XIV was a absolute autocrat. Influence of his wife Mary Antoinette involved the court politics, supporting psychopaths, mis maladministration, impact of 7-year war on state treasury. Lafayette, who fought in the American Revolution, domination of two state clergy and nobility who did not share power with the third state. Economic: already high national debt, 2 billion livres and 1 billion added by American Revolution. Consecutive bad harvests led to high cost of bread. The third estate was only one to pay tax, had to pay exclusive tax to church. 98% of population owned less than 65% of land. No industrial revolution in France, unlike Britain. Extravagant lifestyle of Louis XIV and his wife. Social causes of French Revolution are the discriminatory state system. Third estate have to majority but no power. Educated middle class could not aspire to social move up or the ladder. Rapid growth of population in France and the most populous country with population of 28 million. Causes and spread of French Revolution. 1789 meeting at the three state third state stormed out and declared itself the National Assembly. Tennis court ought not to move away until the Constitution was created. Storming of Bastille, 14 July 1789. Fall of the prison fort of Bastille. Political prisoners set free. Federalism by National Assembly, Declaration of Rights of Man and the Citizen, Equality, Liberty, and Fraternity. 1790 Church vote under the state. 1791 France declared the constitutional monarchy with Louis XIV was the nominal head. 1792 National Assembly replaced by National Convention, divided into Girondins and Jacobins. Girondins wanted a liberal republic, mostly middle and upper class, loosely organized, believed in fair means, important leader Madame Roland. So they wanted liberal republic, mostly middle and upper class. Jacobins wanted an uncompromised republican, mostly lower middle class from Paris, more organized, believed all means were acceptable, important leader Robespierre. 1793 execution of 14 and his wife, beginning of reign of terror. 1794 reign of terror under Robespierre. 1995 formation of five-member directory executive body Bourbon dynasty and restored amplified. And 1799 Napoleon abolished directory takes title first consul of France. Impact of French Revolution. Fall of autocratic Bourbon dynasty which ruled France for 400 years. Prominent historic figure, a result of chaos. Abolition of feudalism and nationalism and establishment of secular state church was subordinated to state. French ideal of liberty, equality, fraternity were adopted in constitution of the world including India. Role played by the middle class and common people, which was unprecedented in world history, served as the inspiration for revolution in South America, Asia, and Africa. Even India, personality like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Desorio were greatly inspired by French Revolution. Role of women, including the March on Versailles 1789 and Madame Roland, Napoleonic Code at 1804 instituted revolutionary idea like equity, abolition of feudalism, protection of property rights, secularism, uniform law, and countries like Italy and Germany, Poland and Belgium. Then comes the industrial revolution. The causes are the agriculture causes. Agriculture is declining. Demographic. Food is surplus, leading to rapid population growth. Geographical. Insular location of England. Island was not impacted by European politics. Presence of iron coal, despite often side by side prerequisite sites for heavy industry. Indented coastline created natural harbor and ports. Navigable rivers serve as theme. Midly humid climate was good for cotton textile industry. Political stable political atmosphere, especially after Glorious Revolution 1688, leading to constitutional monarchy. State supported trade and commerce, granting the pay of parents patent provided incentive for inventors. So, in economic presence of strong banking system made borrowing of capital easy, surplus capital available resulting from foreign trade, and development of the factory system leading to end of domestic system and specialization of skill under one roof. Availability of raw material from colonies like India, new market for finished good in colonies in Asia and Africa, cheap labor available due to migration of landless and small peasant to cities, incentivization of creativity through patents. Scientific factor are also there. So then becomes the colonialism in and Africa. So, meaning of the colonialism is linked to imperialism. Phase of imperialism, first phase, 15 to mid 19th century, including triangular slave trade, and second phase, mid 19 to 1914, is termed as new imperialism and scramble of Africa. So, colonialism of Africa by 1870, 10% of Africa was colonized. By 1914, 90% of Africa was colonized. Causes of the imperialism, role of adventurers like H.M. Stanley, Congo Free State, and De Brazza, Congo, and Cecil wrote Rhodesia minus Zimbabwe plus Zambia. Backwardness and internal division among colonized people, technological factors like steamboat, machine guns, and quinine. Ideological factor, hypernationalism, white man burden, and civilizing mission and propaganda. Economic factors seeking gold and silver initially and species. Example of colonization: the British, Burma, Sri Lanka, tea plus coffee, Malaya, black pepper plus cardamom. France, Indochina, Vietnam, Laos, clove and nutmeg. Dutch, Indonesia, rubber. Belgium, Congo Free State, Italy, Somaliland and Portugal, Mozambique and Angola, Germany, Cameroon and Togoland, Germany and Northwest Africa, and German East Africa. Resistance of this imperialism. Boxer Rebellion in 1899 and 1900 by groups of Chinese peasants against European imperial government crushed. Consequence: mercantilism. Impact of World War 1940 to 1918. Causes leading up to 1914-1915. Imperialism, colonialism scrambled for Africa. Hypernationalism, military alliance. Three-party alliance of World War First. So 1882 triple alliance. The Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy. So triple entente. So Britain, France, and Russia BFR. Then alliance of World War First, 1914 to 1918. Allied power were Britain, France, Italy, Japan, Russia until 1917, and Romania. And central power Germany, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman Turkey, and Bulgaria. Immediate cause of this World War One: assassination of Crown Prince of Austria and Hungary. And impact of World War First is the political, economical, social, and technological. So the political cause: fall of monarchies. Hohenzollern in Germany, Habsburg in Austria-Hungary, Romania in Russia, and Ottoman in Turkey. Establishment of democracies like Czechoslovakia, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Yugoslavia and Turkey. Interwar period. So Paris Peace Conference in 1990 to 1920, dominated by Big Four: U.S. Woodrow Wilson, Britain Lloyd George, France George Clemenceau, Italy Vittorio was also present but not part in of the Big Four. Treaties signed: Treaty of Versailles, Germany; Treaty of Saint Germain, Austria; Treaty of Sevres, Turkey; Treaty of Neuilly, Bulgaria; Treaty of Trianon, Hungary. Mandate: British mandates Palestine, Iraq, Transjordan. France mandates Syria and Lebanon. And Togoland and Cameroon divided between Britain and France. German Southwest Africa, South Africa, and German East Africa, Britain. Then comes the Russian Revolution 1917, Burgorius phase in 1917, proletarian phase 1917, where Bolshevik came to power led by Lenin, socialist. Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany marked the end of Russian participation in war. Then World War II. So causes of World War II: capitalism versus socialism dichotomy, implied ideological divide. Hitler annexed of Sudetenland, German-speaking area of Czechoslovakia. Beginning of first September 1939, Germany invaded Poland. 3rd September 1939, Britain and France declared war on Germany. Key event: World War II, Phoney War, Blitzkrieg Lightning War. In 1940, German occupied Netherlands and Denmark. Battle of Britain in 1940. Alliance: Axis of power: Germany, Italy, and Japan. Giz. And Allied power: Britain, Australia, and China. Germany, East and West Germany. Division of Berlin, UK, France and USSR, formation of military alliance NATO 1949 and Warsaw Pact 1955, rise the non-aligned movement NAM, establishment of Bretton Woods Twins IBRD International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, World Bank and IMF International Monetary Fund. So thank you very much. This is the whole